Hello, it's Entertainment World Soldier here, and I'm doing my review on Bad Boys for Life. And I'm going to start off by saying I did enjoy the film. It's a good film. It is not. It's not like the new Men in Black. It doesn't destroy the old characters. Will Smith isn't playing some SJW monster. Nah, he's still his own character. Marcus, played by Martin Lawson, is still the same character, so they're both the same character. They haven't devolved into what the SJWs want. This film was entertaining, and I would suggest if you do want to watch a good film this week, I would go to see Bad Boys. Now, this first few minutes of me is just going to be about how I feel more about the movie, and then I will go into spoilers. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, just wait till I say spoilers and then just leave. So I'm going to start off by saying, yes, this is a good film. There are a few issues, but I think you can look over them. This film feels like a Bad Boys film. It has not turned into something new, and that is what I'll give it credit. It still feels like I'm watching the same two people that I did in the first Bad Boys and the second Bad Boys. I don't think though that this is as good as the first and second, but I still think it is a good film nonetheless. I did not enjoy the extra characters. I have to admit, this new squad called the Ammo Squad, they weren't really needed in this film. I kind of think you could have taken them out of the film and the film still would have been good. Will Smith still plays his regular character, and again, I'm just absolutely happy with that, because too many times we've seen old films come back and they've changed the main character to be this SJW idiot. And there's none of that in this movie, which I am flipping happy about. There's a lot of comedy in this film, but to be honest, listen, if you like the first and second Bad Boys, you will still like this Bad Boys. The comedy hasn't changed, which is amazing to me, because I've seen too many films this year that have gone so far to comedy when it's supposed to be serious, and Bad Boys has always had that kind of serious, but you can make a joke about it, and I like that. So I'll give the film credit there. I did like some of the gunfights that we got, but I am going to say this, not as good as the last two. At the end of the day, I do think Bad Boys for Life is not as good as the last two Bad Boys that we got. So there is a problem there. I would say this has the weakest villain I've ever seen in Bad Boys. She is no way good. Okay, she's not in the film that much. And by the way, it is a she. Sorry, I should have said spoilers, but yeah, she is a she. And then we have her kid going around doing bad things, and Will Smith and Marcus have to go out and stop him. So yes, this is a simple story. It isn't as good as the last two, but I would suggest that if you want to see a good film, go out and see Bad Boys for Life. But I wouldn't pay for like the best quality. Like, don't go see this in IMAX. I don't really see the point. But if you're just looking for time to waste, if you're not that bothered, go see Bad Boys. You'll have fun with it. It is interesting. There are problems, but trust me, if you watch the film, you'll enjoy it. The third act is the weakest act in my opinion. But anyway, that's what I'm going to say about that. I am going to go to spoilers now. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, please leave now. Okay? Right, spoilers. So we start off the film with Will Smith and Martin in their car driving fast. I thought they were in a chase, and they're driving around Miami crazy. So this is like typical, Mike style in his new expensive car, and I rather enjoyed that car chase. But what we find out at the end of it is it wasn't a car chase. Mike was just helping Martin get to his daughter, who is having a kid, and she had a kid. And you find out next that they named the kid after Marcus. And I thought that was pretty nice, and we get the whole comedic aspect there. Mike makes a little bit of a joke. Marcus starts crying. And then we get a surprise, which I didn't think this was going to happen in the film. But the person who's the dad of Marcus's kid, it's that same bloke from Bad Boys 2. That tall guy. You know, that tall guy from the last one who was taking the daughter out, and Mike and Marcus were like saying all that crap to him to try to scare the crap out of him. He sticked around. I'll give that kid credit there. I mean, fucking hell. I mean, if that was me, I would have fucking run for it if those two were fucking saying all that shit to me. But yeah, that was hilarious. I did enjoy that scene. I mean, yeah, I will say that. You then start to hear a lot more about, you know, Marcus wants to retire from the police, and Will Smith is like, why do you want to retire? We're not old. We're still in the game. And Marcus is just like, listen, we're too old now. We need to kind of like wake up to the reality of that. And, you know, Marcus has not changed that much. You know, he's always trying to be a normal policeman. He's not trying to be like what Mike is trying to be, like this elite crazy guy. He's just trying to be a normal cop doing a normal job, you know, paying the bills, day-to-day life stuff. That's what he wants. And Mike is just like, listen, I don't care about any of that stuff. I just want to have fun. I want to be the best. I want to be Mike Lowrey. And you know what? I respect that. And I'm so glad that they didn't try to say that Mike has like a family. He's doing all this stuff, because Mike's not like that. And you shouldn't try to put him in that position. After that, we then get this whole shot of people being of a drug deal going on, and this kid who I don't know what he's called. They're having a drug deal. The guy threatens the kid, and then, well, the kid grabs a pistol from someone, shoots everybody in the room except for 3 guys, and then says to the 3 guys, I need a new crew. Are you going to join me, or am I going to have to kill you? So they join him, and then he gets onto the phone to this woman, and it turns out this woman is his mother. And then we go back in time, I kind of think, and then it turns out that she was in prison, and she fakes being dead to be let out, because when somebody dies in prison, they put them in the morgue. She then gets put in an ambulance. I think this is Mexico, and then the ambulance drives out the prison, and the ambulance gets ambushed by cartel. They kill 2 of the policemen, I think, that were with them, and then the woman wakes up and then stabs both the paramedics. And then the last guy runs out, and then her son shoots him, and then you kind of see they've met, they have a little chat, and then we go back to the present scene, and then he's talking to his mother and saying, I'm going to get the job done, you know, mother's giving him praise and all that shit. And then we pan to a different scene where he starts shooting some random people. But it turns out these are not random people. But then that scene's over, and then we go to another scene where they're celebrating Mike's daughter's kid in a restaurant or club, and they start talking, and then Marcus goes back into the whole, I want to retire, I'm done. And you know, it's pretty much, in this film, you pretty much see that, listen, Marcus is done. He wants out of the police, he wants to be a normal granddad. And Mike is like saying, why do you want to do that? It's boring. Your wife's not even going to be happy that you're sticking around, because she wants you out of the house a couple of times, which you can kind of see and agree with. And then they start talking to each other. The captain comes over, has a little chat with them, the same captain from all the other 2 movies, which again, I'm happy they brought him back, because I really did think they're going to change the captain. I didn't want to see that, because he's a good actor. I'm not sure what he's called, but hey, listen, he's a good character. And then a woman, this Mexican woman, walks by, and it turns out that she and Mike went out once, and that Marcus keeps telling him, why did you give up on her? You should have sticked with her. She's your type. She's clever. She's smart. Same thing, but you know. Yeah, and Mike's like, listen, it wasn't going to work. I wasn't interested. Just get off my back. And then they start making a little bit more jokes And then they start, and then Marcus then says, listen, you're getting old now because even I can beat you at running. And then Mike's just like, are you actually kidding? That's bullshit. And it was a funny scene. And the captain, and they bring over the captain so that they can do a race because they both have different opinions on where their future should lie. So what they're going to do now is they're going to race and see who's faster, and whoever wins gets to pick both their futures. And Marcus says, listen, if I win, we both retire and we get on with being grandparents. And Mike's like, if I win, we stick at this until we're 100. So yeah, it's a funny bit. It was a funny scene. So they start off the race, they're both running. Marcus is literally going to get beaten. You can literally see he's breathing heavily and shit, and it's funny. And Mike's like playing it up and saying, listen, you can't catch me, haha, like all that shit. But then a bike races across and then does a wheelie on the front wheel, gets a gun out and shoots Mike in the chest, like bang bang 3 times, and then runs off. And then Marcus runs over to him to stop the bleeding. The captain rings in for ambulance. And I think that was a surprising scene. I did not expect that Mike would get shot in this. Because, we've been through 3 movies now and not that much has happened to Mike in that department. It's normally Mike shooting Marcus. Because I remember that scene for the second one when he shot him in the ass. That was pretty funny. But yeah, Mike gets taken to a hospital. And Marcus just start praying to God because, he loves him. He's like his brother. And, you can kind of see that relationship. You've seen that relationship of multiple films, but this time it's like, because he's nearly dead. And he nearly dies because of that attack. So he prays to God and he says, listen, if you save Mike, I will stop being violent. I will stop all of this stuff. Not now! Where was I? Sorry, I need to get my own house one day. Where was I? Yeah, he's praying to God. He's asking for, listen, I'll stop doing violent things if you save his life. You then see more reports of more people getting killed, drugged. The same bike guy has killed some drug dealers. He ends up then killing a lawyer. He then kills a judge. And so you can kind of see this stuff is going all out of control. The captain starts saying this, I want this guy on a plate, because he's ruining a lot of stuff, and he might have killed Mike, and Mike's like a son to him, so you can kind of see that. And that was a big scene, seeing that, the relationship, because you kind of see the captain's like, he's having to deal with them both, but when he says he sees Mike as a son, that hits you, right there in the heart, and I really like that. It then pans out, the scene then changes into what we think is a funeral, because everybody's like crying, and Marcus is crying, and it turns out, because I thought it was a funeral, I was like, are they really going to kill Mike this early in a film? Because that would be a massive mistake. And no, it turns out it's Marcus's daughter's wedding, marrying that dude. And you see Mike being wheeled in on a wheelchair, and they're celebrating the fact that his daughter's got married. Mike makes a speech. He's in a wheelchair, but then he gets up and then tells the daughter and now the son, it's a hard life. You got to remember because he then says, what does me and your father are? We always have this motto we go by, which is, we ride together, we die together. And everybody says, bad boys for life, which is a good scene. And I like that. The scene then moves to a nightclub again. Oh no, it gets dark. Marcus is like talking to his kids and stuff, and Mike goes up to his captain. The captain's like, listen, no, you're not getting what you want. You're not being involved in this investigation. You can't do that. And then Mike's like, well, let me investigate all the other murders that have happened. But the captain's like, no, they're the same person. I'm not going to let you investigate this. You're too close. And he gets annoyed and walks off. You then see Marcus is going into his room, getting getting a cigar, because I think he was going to have that with his new son-in-law. But then and Mike catches up to him and says, "Listen, we both need to go out there and start looking for this guy, because we can't just let this get away from us. Let this guy get away." And Mark is like, "Listen, I'm done. I'm retired." And that shocks Mike. That pretty much shocks Mike, because he thinks he's gonna stick around and help him find this guy who attacked him. And he says, "Listen, we aren't dead yet. We need to find this guy. He put 2 holes in me. I can't let that slide," which he says. And Mark is like, "Why are you saying all this? You survived. You're alive. You won. Can't, stop thinking about the past. Stop being so angry. Get on with the future now." And then Mike does say something bad, which is like, "Don't you care about me? The guy shot me. You should be the first one trying to find out who shot me." And then Mark says, "How dare you? I stood by your bed throughout. I, cleaned up after you. When you were dribbling, I, cleaned it up for you." And he's like, "How you disrespecting me now?" And Mike is like, you see he's upset when he says that. And you can kind of get that. And I think that was a good scene, because at the end of the day, they are different people. And Mark is done with this, okay? He doesn't want to be a cop anymore. And he doesn't want Mike to go down this road of just endless revenge. And he tells him he needs to just get out, get on with his life, and look to the future and start looking at the past. Which is a good scene. The scene then ends. We then go, I think, a few days. And then Marcus is fully retired now. He gets up. The same scene's going on. Is Mike gets up. They're both pretty much showing their day to day. Marcus is enjoying his retirement. He wants to just be a normal person. Mike's being like himself, like wearing expensive suits, expensive jewelry, getting his gun. And Marcus is like getting into sweats and sitting watching TV, which is funny. It's a good scene that you enjoy. Mike then goes to a butcher's shop looking for someone who has links to the underworld. He goes in there, questions the guy. The guy's like making jokes because the man who shot Mike has put the shooting on the internet, on the dark web, where it's making a lot of traction and everybody's talking about it. And this pisses Mike off to grabbing this butcher guy, slam him in the table, hitting him with a hammer, like a meat hammer thing. He hits him in the hand, hits him in the chest, throws him down, handcuffs him to the table, and pretty much like, where's the gun? Who bought the gun? Where can I find like the trail to this to the guy who shot me? And the butcher's like, "Listen, there's nothing to do with me. I'm not in the underworld anymore. This is police brutality." And then Mike hits him again with the hammer, which is funny. And then, which is a weird scene, I thought, is the butcher then grabs Mike's shoulder, wears an expensive suit, and it turns out he's got dark grease on his hands. And he's like, the guy's petrified at this point. I mean, Mike's been hitting him with a hammer, and he's petrified because he's put a bit of grease on Mike's, expensive jacket. Which I thought, it's like, how are you scared of that? He's kicking the crap out of you. You'd think you'd have talked before then. But he gives him a name, gives him someone to follow, and the scene ends there. He just walks out because he knows the name. He walks out, heads back to the station. The butcher's screaming like, "You gotta let me out of here, Mike. You've handcuffed me." And then that scene ends. You then go back to the police station where Mike talks to the captain again, and he's like, "Listen, I found that name. He's a gun dealer. We need to find him to get the information." And the captain's like, all right, listen, I can't stop you from investigating this, but maybe I can control you a little bit. So he lets Mike join Ammo Squad, which is a small squad of people who investigate specialised crimes, and they're investigating Mike's attacker because, well, it's a special case. So Mike goes down there, and the person in charge of this group is the woman who he was in a brief relationship with. And the captain's got to like convince her to let Mike on the team, because he explains to her, listen, he's going to go out there, he's going to start making more trouble. He wants to find this guy. At least if he's in your team, we can see what he's doing and we can control Mike. And I thought that was kind of weird, because he's not going to he's going to do a lot of bad shit. But she says yes. Mike gets introduced to the whole team. I don't know what their names, so I'm just going to say, we got the technician guy, the girl, and then we got the mini Mike, which is pretty much what he is. He's like mini Mike, except without the ladies. He's just got the smack talk and shit. So they kind of butt heads, Mike and the smack talker, and that's about it. Next scene is they're in a van looking for this gun dealer, the gun dealer who Mike found out from the butcher. So they drive outside this building and they send a drone up and to look around the building to see where the deal is going. It's going on in the middle of the building. The gun dealer is selling specialised bullets, the ones that shot Mike. Mike then sees the handoff of the money for the guns and then realises that the bag is empty. So he runs it. He says, yeah, we have to get into that building, because if we don't, they're going to kill the gun dealer, because they're there to steal the weapons, not pay for them. So Mike runs in. The leader of the group, she sends in the girl to go with him. So she does. They sneak into the building where the deal's going. You can see they're talking to this group. The gun dealer's talking to the group that's buying the guns. And then one of the gun dealers pulls out a gun and starts shooting at everybody. So Mike realises he's got to save the gun dealer, because he's the only one who knows the information about the guy who bought the gun that shot him. So there's shooting going on, a lot of stuff. It's regular bad boy shootout, special things. Mike jumps and slides across the room with his gun, shooting a bunch of people. He grabs the gun dealer. He says, listen, I'm here to protect you. Do as I say or I'm going to kill you, or whatever. So they're running. He asks the girl to give him cover fire. She does. And then bang bang, a car gets blown up. The gun dealer sees that. He sees it as a chance to get away, so he runs from Mike. Mike then tries to chase him. One of the guys buying the guns drives the truck through the middle. Everybody starts shooting at him. It crashes, it blows up, and it pushes the gun dealer right onto a crane with spikes, and he gets skewered by it. And then you see Mike run over to him to try to save his life, because again, this guy's the only one who knows about the guy who bought the gun from him. The gun dealer dies, and then the captain comes up with reinforcements. Mike's trying to explain away why he shot these people. He's like, he didn't start it, he was only there to save the gun dealer. And the captain's like, well, it didn't work, did it? Because he's dead now. So that scene ends. We then go to a scene where Marcus is in is in a shopping centre with two other mothers, and they're watching some, soap opera. He gets a call from a rat, a snitch basically, who starts saying, the guy that the police are looking for, the biker guy, he's after me, he's trying to kill me. And Marcus is like, this is not my problem anymore, I'm not a cop, you need to ring up the police station, or ring up Mike. And he says, I don't trust anybody, I only trust you. So Marcus then tries to ring up Mike. He gets into his car and drives off. Mike, dealing with the whole situation with the gun dealer, sees a text, and he goes up and he meets Marcus in their in a family car. So they make jokes about the car. They're driving off. Mike's like, why did you bring the kid? Because Marcus has his grandson with him, and he's like, listen, it's on the way to his wife who's at a beauty salon right now, and he's going to drop off the kid there so he doesn't have to take the kid to a murder investigation, which was kind of funny. They get stuck in traffic. A bunch of hot girls walking across, and Mike's like trying to hide his face, like, he doesn't want people to see him in a family car. And then Marcus just starts bibbing the horn, saying Mike Clary's in the car, because he's like, why the hell do you care? You're literally like old enough to be their dad. So they drive off. They get to a spa. Marcus then tells Mike, you've got to put the kid in there. I'm not going to go in there with my wife because she's going to kill me. And it's kind of funny. Mike gets the kid, runs into the building, sneaks into the room where Marcus's wife is getting a massage, drops the kid in there, and then Marcus's wife sees him and then starts screaming at them, what the hell are you doing here? Don't leave the kid here. And Mike just runs back to the car, and they make jokes about it, like, and they like explain like how mad is she? She's like a 10 or a 1. And then, which was a weird thing to find out, I did forget about this, but then they start saying, is she as mad as I was when you dumped my sister? Which was a weird way to find out Mike dumped Marcus' sister, because I kind of thought them two would be together for a long time. I didn't think that happened. But yeah, it turns out Mike is not going out with his sister anymore, and I only just remembered that. So yeah, that was a weird way to find out about it. It's surprising they didn't bring up in the first few minutes like to explain about that. But anyway, Marcus and Mike drive to where the snitch is. They get out of the car, they start talking about why did you quit, and Marcus is like, listen, I'm not a cop anymore, I don't want to be a cop, I'm only helping you because the snitch called me. And then a few seconds later, boom, a body lands on Marcus's car, and Marcus cannot bear to look because he's like, please don't be my car, or please don't be the rat. And it turns out, yes, it's the rat who got killed. Mike then grabs his gun, runs into the building to try and see who threw the rat off the building. Mark is just like pleading, and it's like you see it in the trailer. It's like it's his wife. He knows what's happened, and that was a funny scene. You then see Mike thrown through a window, grabbing the guy in the black biker suit, grabbing, have a fight. Marcus is like, come on, God, give me a sign, help him, and because he got really religious in this film, which I found, it was weird. I've never seen Marcus as religious as that. But yeah, he started praying to God. Mike is, fighting with the biker. He manages to pull up the visor to see his eyes, and then the bike guy puts down the visor, headbutts Mike, and then runs for it. Mike then pursues him. They jump off a building together. The biker bashes Mike again in the head, and then legs it to the bike. Marcus then chases the guy on the bike, grabs him, but the biker just throws him away because, Marcus is not, tough anymore. So he pushes him off, and then he runs off, and then that's the end of that scene. Where are we now? Did that scene. We then go to a scene where Mike is talking to his captain, that volleyball game, and the captain's like telling him, Mike, you need to get your shit in order, man. You really do. You got to stop going on this path where you got nowhere to go. Stop, sitting around doing nothing. Stop just being what you've been for 20 years. You need to get your life together. You need to go on a path. Stop not being on a path. Go on a path. Get a life. Get a career. Get a family together. And the captain's trying to teach him to, stop being Mike, basically. Get a family together. Get on a path that you want to go down for the rest of your life. And I kind of respect that, because you do normally get that sort of stuff from, people that care about you. And the captain really does care about Mike, which you can see, and I like that relationship between them. So the volleyball game ends. The captain and Mike walk into the car, and then a scene that really surprised me, is the captain gets shot by a sniper, bam, out of nowhere. I did not believe that was going to happen. I thought, the captain's not going to die. I mean, how the hell would that work. And then Mike's struggling to try and keep the captain alive. The sniper turns out to be the biker dude. He is got a sniper. He shot him. He's trying to shoot Mike again, but there's civilians in the way. And the guy next to the biker keeps saying, just shoot through the innocent people, just shoot through them. And the guy's like, no, I'm only here to kill Mike. And then Mike sees that the shot came from one of the buildings, grabs the captain and pulls him round to the side of the car so he can keep him into cover. The biker guy sees that and pretty much knows that he can't kill him, and he knows the police are coming, so he runs for it and leaves it there. The captain dies, and they go to his funeral. It's a big ceremony, you know, all the stuff you normally get from these types of films when the captain dies. And then Marcus is just like, yeah, I need to come back and help because they're not getting away with killing the captain, which I like that scene. And then Mike blames himself because if he hadn't been with the captain wouldn't have died. And then Marcus says, this isn't your fault, this is the guy's fault, let's just concentrate on finding him and killing him. So that scene ends. They go back to the station to, you know, meet up with the ammo team. And they start trying to... Oh, no, that's not what I did. No, Mike and Marcus head off to look for... Because they figured out that they found the accountant who may have information on the biker's identity. They run up to him. They run up to his house in Mike's car. Mike then goes to the boot of his car to try and get a gun. And then Marcus sees, like, he's literally got an arsenal in there. He's got a grenade launcher, like a bunch of rifles. And, like, Marcus is like, why do you need all those guns? I mean, seriously. So they make a little joke about that. They head up to the house. Marcus wants to knock on the door. Mike says fine, but then he just kicks the door in anyway. They run in. There's this fat bloke, you know, sniffing coke. And then Mike's like, put your hands up, I'm going to shoot you. And then Mike's like, listen, let's talk about this. Like, Mike, I'm going to try to connect to his soul or something. And he's like, listen, he goes up to the fat stoner, and he's like, listen, I'm here to help you. You have information we need. And the fat stoner's like saying some random shit, like I'm going to eat you, or I'm going to kill you. He says a bunch of random stuff. Marcus goes up to him and says, calm down, we're here to help. And the fat guy just punches him square in the face. And Mike makes a joke like, are you sure you want to connect to his soul still? And then Marcus says, I say, fuck off. And he goes up and he tries again. He says, listen, I'm here to help you. You know, the crazy shit he's been saying all this film. And then the fat guy hits him again. And it's like, Mike goes up to him and then says, are you sure you don't want to turn the other cheek now? He's like, fuck it, just you deal with him. So Mike goes up to him with a gun and says, you better fucking sit your ass down, I'm gonna shoot you. And the guy, and then the fat guy's like, if you didn't have that gun, I'm gonna eat you. I was gonna eat you. And it's like, it was like a weird scene. And then Mike says, you're gonna try and eat me? And he puts his gun away and says, fine, try and eat me then, motherfucker. But then, bang! The ammo team has arrived. They've shot him with, what are those things called? Well, they've brought a stun gun. They shot him with a taser. That's fucking stun gun. A taser. They shot him with a taser, and they take him back to the police station. And Mike says, "How the hell did they know we were here?" And then Marcus says, "I called them." So they go back to the station. They figure out this guy has links to a cartel, and one of the members of the cartel is going to be at this club today celebrating his birthday. So they all make a plan and say, we're going to go to this party, we're going to arrest that guy so we can find out who the shooter is. So they go there, they get dressed up and all that. Yeah, Mike and Marcus head up to the club together, and then the bouncers, which are a bunch of ladies, say, yeah, you're not coming in, you're too old, Grandpa. And Mike can't take that. He's like, what the hell do you mean, Grandpa? And Marcus starts laughing, like, you can pretty much see that he wants to say, It's obvious that we're not young anymore, Mike. You need to you need to fucking accept that. And then the mini Mike, who's the young guy who was he was in Ammo Team, comes out and says, "Hey girls, don't worry about these two. One of them's my uncle, the other one's his friend. Let's just let them in because they've had a divorce and they need to have a party." So the girls say, "Oh well, have sympathy for the old man," and they say, "Come in, have fun." And Mike can't take it because it's like, "I'm not an old man, you bastard," which is pretty much what he wanted to say. So they go into the club. It's like everybody's partying and all that shit. You can see some of the team members in the club already, except for the technician guy, because the technician guy apparently doesn't go into these sort of situations because he's got mental problems or something, and he's outside monitoring the situation. The little girl is in the club in a bikini as a waitress. The DJ is Mini Mike, and the boss of the team, she's wearing a sexy outfit, walking around the club trying to, find out is there any escape routes so they can stop the cartel guy getting away. So Mike and Marcus walk around the club looking around, and then Marcus starts talking about he has had sex in a year, and it's just like Mike's trying to tell him, stop talking about your sex life. The rest of the team can hear you. He's like, "No, they can't hear me. You hear this music." He's like, and then the team pretty much say, "Yes, we can hear you." And then Marcus is like, "Oh crap." He's like, "Listen, that was all jokes. Let's just get on with it." And then Mike says like, "Can we just get on with the job?" And then they walk up to the VIP place, but they can't get in. And then the girls, then a bunch of girl waitresses, and the little girl who's in the team walk up with a bunch of wine glasses with flares on them. They walk up. Marcus and Mike grab 2 champagne bowls and do the same to try and get into the VIP spot. They do. They then surround the guy, the cartel guy. They start making jokes instead of people saying "happy birthday," "happy birthday to you," and we're gonna put you under arrest and all that shit. And the cartel realizes what they're doing. He then jumps onto this ladder. It then falls all the way to the floor. Guy runs for it. Mike's like, "We need to jump." Mark is like, "I'm not jumping." And then Mike says, "Well, fuck you then," and he jumps. We haven't got a choice. He didn't say fuck you. He said, "We ain't got a choice." He then jumps, hits the floor, runs after the guy, and you can just see Marcus going down the stairs. So, so it wasn't really. There was no point of Mike just jumping down there. The cartel guy grabs a bike, drives off, and then Mike grabs a car, pulls the driver out the car, says it's police business. Mark is just walking over and says, "Is this the car you really want to get?" And then Mike's like, "Why the fuck didn't you jump?" It's like, "What's the point? I told you I'm not jumping." And then Mike's saying, "What's the point of me jumping if you're not going to jump?" So they drive off and they chase the guy. The team Ammo is they're out there trying to say what's going on. Mike's telling them, "We're in pursuit of the guy. You need to catch up to us." They're driving fast. It's just a normal chase scene. Mike then grabs his gun because he hasn't got real gun. He's got a pellet gun. Not pellet gun. It fires rubber bullets because Ammo don't allow people using real guns. I don't know why, but so he shoots the guy in the back of the head who's on the bike, the cartel guy. He crashes. Mike then jumps off the bike. Mike then gets out of the car. So does Marcus. They run over to the cartel guy to arrest him. They grab him. They pull him to the car. They start questioning him, and Mike then takes his phone out of his pocket. And then the guy then wakes up, and then Marcus punches him in the face. It's like, "Where's the information?" and all that. And a bunch of bikers come out of nowhere, surround the car, start shooting at the car, then start hitting the car because they want to kill the cartel guy. And then the cartel guy hits Marcus and then legs it out of the car. Mike then shoots a couple of people, and then the cartel guy grabs a bike and then drives off. The car is pretty much broken, so they can't use it. Well, what's happened? Yeah, so they grab a bike with a sidecar. Mike gets on the bike. Marcus gets into the sidecar. They drive after the guy, and then they start having a conversation like, "Why will we not shoot people?" And then Marcus reveals, "I prayed to God, and I said I was going to bring in no more violence into this world." And then Mike says, "You have to, because if you don't, we're both going to die." They're chasing after the guy, to the cartel guy. Marcus finds a grenade. Mike then pulls the pin, and then Marcus throws it. One of the biker guys, because there's like 4 bikes chasing them, manages to grab the grenade and throw it back at Marcus and Mike. The grenade blows up, but it doesn't kill them. It just pushes the bike in the air a little bit. And then Marcus manages to find out there's a fucking light machine gun, like a fucking big light machine gun on the sidecar. And Mike's like telling him, "You need to use that weapon because God gave you that weapon to fire." And then you can hear like Marcus trying to convince himself, "Yes, this is how. Yes, God obviously wanted me to use this gun." And then he starts shooting it. Mike then turns around and shoots 2 of the bikers with his pistol, because he managed to grab one of the pistols from one of the bad guys. Marcus then shoots the big light machine gun at the biker guy, at the cartel guy that they're chasing. The cartel guy shoots a lorry that's got a car on the back of it, blows the car up, boom. And then Mike then tries to drive under a truck. Well, he puts the sidecar under the truck, and you can just hear Mike saying, "I don't want to die like this, for God's sake," because he's like at the back of a truck, and the wheel's kind of hitting his back of the sidecar, and you can kind of see that if he doesn't get out of there soon, the truck's going to like drive over Marcus. So Mike sees this, and he pulls out. So he pulls the sidecar out under the truck, and they then keep going after the cartel guy. All the bikers have been killed at this point, except for the cartel guy. They're on a bridge, and then from out of nowhere, a helicopter comes out of nowhere, and it's got the motorbike guy with a rocket launcher. He fires the rocket launcher. Mike pulls the pin out of the sidecar, so he pushes Marcus away, and so the sidecar and the bike split, and the missile misses them. Boom. It's pretty much a normal thing there. They're driving down. The cartel guy grabs a ladder the motorbike guy has just thrown out so he can grab it. Helicopter lifts up. Mike then drives his bike right at the cartel guy. He jumps off the bike. He jumps onto the ladder, and then to grab the cartel guy. And then Marcus in the cycle just crashes into this these yellow water things at the side of a road. I think that's an American thing. He crashes into them. Mike's on the ladder. The motorbike guy can't get a shot at Mike, so he just says fuck it, and then just shoots the cartel guy. Cartel guy's dead. He falls off the ladder. You then see the guy in black, motorbike guy. He aims at Mike. He then says something in Spanish to Mike, and then boom, Marcus has grabbed the light machine gun he had and starts firing at the helicopter. That gives Mike time to get out of range, so he lets go of the ladder and just falls all the way down to the to the river. So that scene ends. They go back to the station with ammo, team ammo, and then Mike hands the phone to the tech guy, so the tech guy can unlock the phone, because he knows that the cartel guy, that phone's going to have information on it. You can then see the leader of ammo. She is in a room with a bunch of authority figures, so I think they're her bosses. Mike is talking to Marcus about, what happened and all that shit, and he doesn't understand. The tech guy then unlocks the phone. Phone's unlocked, and then Mike managed to figure out the person that is trying to kill him is a woman that he helped put away. And then from that, he figures out that the man in black, the motorbike guy, turns out to be his son. So, and that was pretty surprising to me. It's like, wait, what? When the fuck did Mike have a son? And then Marcus asks, "How do you know that's your son?" Because he then walks over to him because he sees he's upset when he realizes this. Marcus says, "How the hell have you got a son? I've never heard of it." Mike then says, "It was a long time ago. It was before I met you. It was before I was left the academy. I was put undercover with a cartel, and I was this woman's driver. We had a connection. We fell in love with each other, and things got heat. They pretty much slept together, and she is pretty much the reason that Mike Clary is who he is. She created Mike Clary." And I didn't really think that was a necessary thing to put in this film, to say that a woman created Mike Clary. But I can live with it. I don't think that's completely SJW. I think that's fine. You know, Mark is like, "How do you know that this is your son? How can this be your son? He doesn't look like you." He's like, "Listen, it adds up. Her husband could not have kids, so I'm the only person who's probably the father." And they pretty much both accept that. And then Mike just leaves the station saying, "I'm going to do this on my own now because I don't want to get anybody else killed." So he gets on the plane, but when he gets to the plane, Mike is on the plane, and then he's just panned to a shot of Marcus gets on the same plane as him. He's making a mess. They're saying, excuse me, this is my seat." So it's like a bunch of funny stuff. So he sits behind Mike. He's like, "I'm not letting you go out there on your own. I'm going to be with you for this. We're bad boys for life." And yeah, so Mike is happy with that. They then start talking about it, like, "How the hell did you have a kid with her?" And it's like, "I just fell in love with her," and all that stuff. It's like, "What is she to you?" And it's like, "The first woman I ever fell in love with, but she's a crazy bitch. She's also a witch, apparently." Some sort of Mexican witch. And then Marcus says, "How the hell do you fuck a witch without putting a condom on?" And I thought that was funny. And then there's like a guy who's sitting next to them, and he's like, you can tell he's like really uncomfortable with the, the conversation. Marcus then tells him, "Do you want to switch seats?" And he's like, "Yes, please." And he does. He switches seats. They have a bit more of a conversation. Mike says he has to kill his son. This is his fault. He needs to sort this out. So he does. And we then get to Mexico. They find a place to, get all the weapons they need. Turns out Mark is also called Ammo, that team, to come to Mexico to help them. Mike's happy that he did call them, so they can find the Mexican witch to set up a meeting or something, and they do. Mike then goes to some sort of hall to talk to her. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Mike goes into the building. The witch comes over to him. Mike checks her for weapons. She does. Well, no, she doesn't have any weapons. They both sit down. They have a chat. She then pretty much knows that he's got a camera on him, and it turns out this is a trap, because they've also, Ammo's put a drone in the sky. It's looking around. It turns out there's like a shitload of soldiers that come out. They've been hiding. They jump out of nowhere. Marcus is also out there. He gets spotted, and then the guys who are hiding come up, point their guns at him, and they start trying to Marcus pleading like, "Listen, you can't kill me. I've made a mistake." The jokey stuff that he normally does. Ammo team jump in and shoot most of the guys around Marcus, and then they run into the building. It's basically a massive gunfight. It's like normal shit. I'm not going to go into detail about that. It's just a bad boys gunfight. I would say this is the weakest one. I did prefer number 2's, end gun battle to this one. We go through all the fights. Will Smith's son then joins in the fight because he's got a helicopter. He jumps down, has a fight with his dad, and then Mike then says, "I'm your dad." The son doesn't believe this. He says, "No, my dad was the cartel guy." And like Will Smith's like, not Will Smith, Mike is like, "No, I'm your dad." And then the mother comes down telling the son, "You got to kill this guy. You got to kill him." And the son's like, "Is he my dad or not?" And she's like, "Yes." And then she's still wanting to kill him, but the son won't kill him. The mother then pulls out a gun and then tries to shoot Mike, but the son jumps in the way of the bullet. And then what happened next? Oh, the leader of Ammo, she comes out with a submachine gun and shoots the mother, the witch, and then the mother witch just falls down into a hole where there's fire and then just dies. So she dies in a horrific way. What's happened? Yeah, then explosion happens. Marcus falls over the side. It has to grab onto the ledge. Mike then has to grab Marcus because to stop him falling into the pit of the fire with all that stuff, or he's gonna die. And so it's a tense moment. Another blast happens, and the leader of Ammo, she can't get to them to help because there's too much fire in the way. So Mike's son then jumps in and helps Mike pull Marcus up to save his life. And then the scene ends there, pretty much. They've saved Marcus. The scene then pans back to America, Miami, where Marcus brings out a cake for Mike, and they're pretty much just celebrating that they're both done with the police, I think, right now, which is a good scene. It's a good ending, you know, a few little jokes there, here and there. It turns out the leader of Ammo, she's been promoted to captain of the Miami Police, which I think is good. You know, I'm not going to call that an SJW moment. Listen, she's tough, she deserves it. And then Marcus's wife comes down and brings their grandchild. Mike then tells Marcus, "I've booked you a spa day in this resort, and he's gonna look after the kid." And then Marcus just like makes a few jokes and all that stuff. And then, you know, Mike thought the Ammo team was going to help him look after the kid, but the leader of Ammo says, "No, we're going back to work. This is your job." It's a funny little scene. And then the movie ends with Mike and Marcus singing "Bad Boys" to the kid, but Marcus is singing it wrong, and Mike says, "Listen, we're not doing this to the next generation." And it's a funny joke, but then Marcus just keeps singing it his way, and you know, the movie ends there, and that's it. There is there's another scene, a kind of a secret scene, where you see Mike meet his son in prison and pretty much tells his son, "Yeah, I know you have done a lot of bad things, but if you help me with this could get you out of prison sooner." And then the movie ends. It's a cutscene, but fuck it. The movie ends there. And that is all the spoilers I know about Bad Boys for Life. I'm going to say this. I'm going to give this film out of 10 a 6. It's not bad, but it isn't fantastic. I'm going to say this is the weakest one out of all three movies. I think Bad Boys 2 is the best one. Bad Boys 1 is great and better than this one. But this Bad Boys for Life, it's not a bad film. It's not an SOW film. It's a film you can watch and enjoy. But yeah, there's no problems. In my opinion, there's not a lot of problems. Again, if you just want to watch some random film and enjoy it and not have to turn your brain off, Bad Boys for Life is for you. I would not suggest watching it at high quality. I would just suggest, listen, don't watch IMAX, just watch normal. But yeah, give this film a shot. And you'll enjoy it. You will enjoy it. It is fun. It is enjoyable. And I hope you, I hope everybody enjoys this review. If you like the film, if you like the video, give it a like. And if you don't, give it a dislike. Also, comment below. Tell me what I need to improve on. I'm hoping to do tomorrow or today a review on 1917 because that is an amazing film. But Entertainment World Soldier. Bye.